Okay, I'm going to get started on this parental information evening about support that we put in place at Chiltern High School. Just an outline of what we're going to cover. My name's Gabby Cheveris. I'm assistant head teacher here at the school. I'm designated safeguarding lead, and I'm also attached to Year 8. I'm also a trained mental health lead, along with Claire Wilson, who is one of the heads of Lower School. What we're going to cover this evening is we're going to talk about our waived approach to student support. We're going to talk about the in-school support for mental health and wellbeing. We're going to talk a little bit about our mental health ambassadors and what they do. And we're also going to talk about support that's available outside of school and support that's available for families as well, that we're aware of in school. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go over our mental fitness provision. So we have what we call a waived approach to mental fitness, and this covers all aspects of our mental health provision. And we call this our waived provision because there's lots of different waves. And when it starts off at universal, this means that every child in school has access to this, and that is our respect curriculum, our pastoral curriculum, our focus weeks, our assemblies, pastoral teams, and other staff that we have in school to support. We then have several waves of intervention. Our first wave of intervention, wave 1, there's no referral needed to this. This is what we call our light touch information. A light touch intervention. So if a student is requiring a little bit of extra support, there's lots of things that we can offer that are very light touch. That might be a one-to-one touch base with the form tutor or with their head of year or with a mentor. It might be access to time out or quiet spaces, or we might just direct them to certain websites and to internet support that we'll talk about later on in the presentation. Our wave 2 is what we call our Grow and Rise group sessions. I'll talk again a little bit more detail about that later on. And we also have growth mindset sessions as well. We then have our wave 3 interventions, and these are by referral only. Our wave 3 includes Think Room, it includes 42nd Street Counselling, music therapy, and Anna Freud. And then our wave 4, which is interventions that would occur outside of school that can either be made by ourselves or by your GP. So in terms of our universal provision, we do have a respect curriculum that is different across all the year groups, and we touch on all aspects of wellbeing in each year group. So in year 7, we talk about the language of emotions, health and wellness, the power of diversity, and obviously the influence of the media. Year 8, we touch on things like allyship and equity, how to survive in the online world, relationships and change, dealing with difficult emotions. We talk about local and national politics, and also about looking after ourselves and others. In year 9, we focus then about different families, healthy relationships, whose life is in it anyway, and that covers things like abortion and euthanasia, etc., and how to keep ourselves safe in the community. Year 10, we cover life skills, relationships and sex education, ethics and drugs, how to be a safe online consumer. We look at things like ethics and belief and the wider community. And then in year 11, we focus on preparing for success and obviously getting students ready to live in the wider world. This is all underpinned by our pastoral curriculum. This offers personal development opportunities, and it builds a strong sense of community. And these are the sessions that are delivered during form time by form tutors, and also during assemblies as well. And if you want to have a closer look at this, it is available on our website. And as you can see, it's basically a journey that students take from year 7 through to year 11, and all the different aspects of support that we cover in there. So that's our universal provision. Our focus weeks and assemblies, you can see there the range of things that we might talk about that are to do with well-being, focusing on our quality success, anti-bullying week, time to talk day, and anything related to mental fitness and World Health Day. Students also have universal access to staff. All of our staff have some understanding, some basic understanding around student mental health. All have been trained in a formal informed approach. But we also have obviously our specific support staff. We've got heads of year, as you can see there, Miss Irwin, Miss Banton, Miss Dodds, Miss Osborne and Miss Baxter. And we also have our heads of school, head of upper school, Miss Sarwar, and head of lower school, Miss Wilson. And obviously supporting this team are our form tutors, and they all offer fantastic pastoral support to our students. We also have a lovely team of mentors who support, again, with delivering some of our sessions, our specific sessions that I'll talk about in a little while, offering one-to-one sessions with students. So we have Miss Wilkes, Miss Dunville, Miss Prendergast and Mr Rochford. Okay, and you might hear students talking about these people who are available to offer support. They're non-teaching staff and they're available to offer support to students either at ad hoc sessions or on planned sessions as well. Couldn't go without including our attendance team. It might seem strange to include these in terms of support, but actually our attendance team are our first line in often identifying when students are having problems coming into school. They do a fantastic job. They do home visits. They will work closely with families and, you know, support with students who are struggling to get into school and point you in the direction of trying to get you into school. And that is Miss Broadhurst, Miss Wilkes and Mr Mike. Some of you might have met these people when they come knocking on your doors, but everything there that they offer is supportive. There has been a growing, obviously, number of students who are struggling to get into school for emotional reasons, and we work closely with the Manchester City Council guidance around emotional-based school avoidance in trying to support those students. The sooner we know that there's an issue, the sooner we can do something about it. So, you know, if you do communicate with us, we can help, and we can often help to nip problems in the bud before they become much bigger than they are. We also have our safeguarding team. Miss Ingram's on there as well because she's also works with safeguarding, but we've got Miss Roberts, Miss Clavin, Mr MacDonald, and then myself there, who's the designated safeguarding lead. We work with students who are struggling emotionally. We work with students who are struggling with, you know, relationships, maybe at home or at school. We can access outside services to come and support as well. So any issues around anything around children's safety, that's the team that you would go to. So in terms of our Wave 1 support, so that would form, like I said, things like time out. So if a student needs a little bit of time out of a lesson, access to our hub, which is based in access and achievement for students who, you know, do need a little bit longer than a few minutes outside of the lesson, access to certain quiet spaces, one-to-one touch bases either with mentors, maybe on a weekly basis, or heads of year, or even form tutors if students just feel that that would be helpful. And we can also direct students to various websites, some of which you can see there that are, you know, can be quite helpful. Further information about the kinds of websites that are available are actually on our school website. Wave 2 support. That is group-based support. So we have sessions that are called Grow and Rise sessions. These are delivered by our mentors. They're small group sessions that are designed to build up students' resilience. And we often find they work really well, particularly with the younger cohort of students. Also things like growth mindset and Anna Freud, who provide for Wave 2 in terms of webinars that are available not just to students but also to parents as well. So if you keep a lookout for emails, you'll often see emails coming to you for offering support from Anna Freud, and they cover all kinds of things like stress around exam times, supporting students with low mood, etc., etc. A really, really valuable resource to our school. So Wave 3 interventions, they are by referral, and it will be the head of year that would make the referral in for this. We have a wide range of support there. We have a therapeutic inclusion room, which offers one-to-one and group sessions. We have 42nd Street counselling, music therapy and group work, music therapy one-to-one, Anna Freud that I've already talked about. We've got a mentoring service called One Stop Youth Work. We have the support of a local imam who comes in to speak to young people, and also we can make referrals to M-Thrive. And I'll speak a little bit in more detail about these now. So this is our think room. You can see the pictures there of what this looks like. It's a really lovely space. It's part of the whole school approach, and it's really effective in supporting young people when they're struggling a little bit, particularly around transition. It's aimed at improving a pupil's social skills in terms of managing difficult situations, and it provides opportunities for relaxation and discussion through the medium of play therapy and emotional literacy. It can benefit children. We can do it in group sessions. We can also do it in one-to-one sessions as well. We're really fortunate to have the services of 42nd Street. We have a counsellor in school once a day, and he offers one-to-one and group therapy. If you've never heard of 42nd Street, it's a young person's mental health charity, and they have over 40 years of experience of providing confidential services to young people. We're really fortunate. We've been working with 42nd Street for a very long time, and they provide a fantastic service. As well as that, we have a music therapist who comes in once a week from Nordoff Robbins. Music therapy is fantastic for developing emotional skills for young people. She offers group sessions, she offers one-to-one sessions, and it's really useful for those students who might struggle with talk-based therapies to actually express themselves through music. We find that's a really valuable tool. Another of our Wave 3 provisions is Anna Freud, again, who offer online counselling. They can support students in a one-to-one session, and they'd offer 6 to 8 sessions for that. They can do single one-off sessions as well. And they also offer webinars for parents that give a lot of support there as well. So if you keep your eyes out for your emails, you'll often find that we're sending out links to Anna Freud webinars for you to access. And you can just see there a few of the things that students say about Anna Freud, students who've managed to take part in that, students who have found that it's really helped them. And what happens is they'll come down to Safeguarding. We've got a little office off the side of Safeguarding, and they will log in and have their session. And then come out, and if they need a little bit of debrief, they can have it. If not, they will just go straight back to the lessons. They can also have these sessions at home if they wish to, but we find a lot of students actually quite like having it in a safe space at school. And there's some feedback from parents as well from some of the webinars that they found really useful. Okay, another of our Wave 3 services, 2 more here. We've got the One Stop Youth Service, and that is a mentoring service, and they work with young people who are at risk of exclusion and work in a way that enables them to actually remain at school and achieve their full potential. This is another service that we've actually had in school for probably nearly about 20 years now, and we find it really helpful. And another more recent support, we have a local imam who comes in. His name is Irfan Christie, and he works with our young people, some of whom sometimes find it hard to navigate through their faith and the modern world and some of the challenges that faces. And we found him a valuable member of our community. He works really well with some of our young people. And the final Wave 3 is something called M-Thrive. Now, this isn't based in school. It's a Manchester-based support network. It can be accessed by ourselves, so we can make referrals in. Referrals can be made by the young person themselves, but as a parent and carer, you can actually go on their website and refer in as well. And it's like a one-stop shop. They will take an initial referral, they will work with the young person, and if they feel that there's further help that needs to be tapped into, they can actually make those referrals onto other services. So we find it's a really valuable service that we use. And you can see there that you can actually just access some support through them, and it's actually really easy to go through. Our Wave 4 support is a little bit more specialised. This is for young people who are really struggling. We can refer into CAMHS, or you can go via your GP. We can refer into things like language and speech and language therapy, educational psychology, school nurse service, eating disorder service. And obviously, we'd always advise you, if your child has got any kind of issue with their well-being, be it physical or mental, that you would actually access your GP as well. As a school, we are not clinicians. We can't kind of diagnose someone. We don't always know what the best pathway is. And when it comes to a point where things are starting to become quite difficult, we'd always advise that you go to see your GP. Just a little bit of a shout out for our mental health ambassadors. You can see there a picture of these lovely young people who are champions of mental health and anti-bullying, and they work tirelessly in school in order to get that message across. These are some of the things they've done so far. They've done some gratitude celebrations. They've done peer mentoring for Key Stage 3 students. They conduct surveys, asking students about how safe they feel in school, and obviously from that data we can change things and make things feel safer for them. They've done some fantastic community voice podcasts, and they've also delivered mental health awareness assemblies. These are where you can get access. They've actually done 2 podcasts. They've done episode 1, which was the spring term, which was learning to embrace all things mental fitness and belonging, and that features Miss Morris. And episode 2 was released during May in the summer term 1, and that was around mental fitness, resilience, progress tests, and organisation around success. And that was also featuring Miss Banger, one of our deputy head teachers. And you can access those again on our website if you wish to listen to them. Just there, some flashes of support that's available outside of school. I've talked about M-Thrive already. I've talked about CAMHS. We've also got Brook Manchester, which obviously is around sexual health, but also do offer some counselling service. Gadham, Winston's Wish, and Once Upon a Smile are all specialist bereavement services. 42nd Street, again, you can make your own referrals there if you wish to. You just have to go onto the website. Eclipse gives support around drug and alcohol dependency. Adoption counts are fantastic in terms of offering support for adopted young people who find that they're struggling to navigate life. And I've just included there the Right to Choose pathway. There's been a lot of young people, parents ask about referrals for assessment for things like autistic spectrum and ADHD, and waiting lists are absolutely huge. And the usual pathway would be to go to your GP and ask for a CAMHS referral, but there is something called Right to Choose. And what you would do is you would go to your GP and you'd ask for a referral for an assessment for autism and ADHD, but you would Google Right to Choose and you would be able to find a private provider who might have shorter waiting lists and allow you to kind of jump those queues a little bit. So do look at that if you're thinking about a referral for ADHD or autism assessment. We also offer a lot of support for families. We are fully aware that there is a crisis, that there is a living standards crisis, that people are struggling to make ends meet. And this has become more and more of an issue since COVID. But we have access and we know of lots and lots of support that is available to you. So on there, we've got information about a food charity club who changed a church car park into a community garden project. And everyone's welcome. You pay £2 a visit and you can get up to £20 to £40 worth of food. We also can make referrals to food banks for you from Trussell Fund, Emmeline's Pantry, Humans Manchester and Compassion Food Bank. Household and clothes, we have access to different charities that can support with things there. There's also a cost of living support called Bread and Butter Thing, which again is a little bit like the Charity Food Club. Merseybank Community Centre, Stork supports with baby items, and as a school we also have a community room which can provide emergency support for families if they're really struggling. And in our little community room we have some long life foods, we have some toiletries, we have some period products, and we also have pre-loved clothes and pre-loved shoes. If you are curious about any of those things, please do come along. Please do email our school admin or give them a call and ask to be put in touch with our safeguarding team, who'll be able to point you in the right direction. We also offer a really fantastic parenting course. It's offered at least once a year. You might have seen emails out about it for this half term. Sometimes we run it twice a year, and it's a course that helps you to navigate the difficulties of bringing up a teenager. Young people babies do not come with manuals. Young people don't come with instruction manuals, and all of us at some time have faced issues around what we do with dealing with difficult young people. And this course actually gives you some really good tips and advice about how to, face those challenges as a parent of a teenager. And there's just some feedback from parents about how they felt after doing this. So, please, if you're interested, contact Safeguarding. It's Mandy Roberts that actually runs it, and ask her for some more information. And just a final thing I want to talk to you about is something called an early help assessment. You may or may not have been offered one of these by school staff at some time. If you don't know anything about them, what an early help assessment does is it allows us to identify any needs in a family really early, and then to tap into resources and help that can be put in place by our local authority. So it allows for support to be put in place at the right time to meet a family's needs. And school can take a lead on this, or we can ask for an early help support worker to become involved. So it just means that we can get workers from different agencies together to help to support with things that you might be struggling with. It's hard. Being in a family is hard. Bringing up teenagers is hard. Life can sometimes be really difficult, and sometimes we just need a little bit of a helping hand from others. And an early help assessment is something that actually provides that really effectively. So what it does is it identifies needs, it offers preventative support, it can give some targeted interventions, it can give you some guidance, you can get referral to relevant services you might need, it can support your community, and it can help possibly sometimes with accessibility needs as well. And it's dead straightforward. All you do is you complete a very simple basic form that kind of looks at things that are going well, looks at things that are not going quite so well, and thinks about what things could help with that. It's a very, very easy thing to do. So school might suggest one with you if you're having problems getting your child to attend school. Perhaps if your child is displaying some challenging behaviours that they've never displayed before and that you're really struggling with, or if there's any evidence of any relationship breakdown in the families that you're struggling with, or things like struggling with housing benefits and etc. that's having an impact on your child. It's always okay to ask for help. And an early help assessment is a very, very effective way of accessing some really effective help. And you don't have to take my word for that. Here's some feedback from parents who've had early help assessments and what they say. They were relieved there was somewhere they could go for help, that it helped relieve a lot of stress as they consolidated all the tasks when they had a lot going on. It helped them. They felt that there was a weight lifted on their shoulders because there was someone there to take a little bit of the strain. That they helped support them with all aspects of family life. They brought together both our children's schools so everyone was aware of the situation and made life much easier. So we can work not just on our own, but with other schools as well. If you've got, primary age children, working together with other schools if there's issues can be really helpful. So yeah, just some thoughts there. And finally, just to thank you for listening. And there's some contact numbers, for general inquiries, just get in touch with admin. For anything pastoral related, please contact your child's head of year. We have an attendance email, we have a safeguarding email, and of course there's my email as well. So just, if you do feel you need anything, there's your contact details. Okay, so thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll be able to catch up with us on the website if you need to.